Hi, Ali. How are you doing today?
Doing very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So to start off, can you briefly introduce American Tungsten Corp?
Absolutely. American Tungsten Corp has been around for the last 2 years, listed on the OTCQB under ticker DEMRF, on the Canadian Securities Exchange under ticker TUNG. Currently about 40 million shares outstanding at a market cap of about 31 million Canadian. The company is focused on the Ima mine, which is in Idaho. The Ima mine was a past producer of tungsten, the fourth largest producer of tungsten in North America, and also has the second highest grade of tungsten anywhere in North America. It is a past producer, as I mentioned, but the important impetus is the fact that it is on private and patented land. What that means is we have minimal permitting requirements to bring this asset back to production. We are currently undergoing some rehabilitation work on the project to ensure that we're able to access the adits. We have manway access for the portals, and we will start to look to bring production back online within the next 12 to 18 months, serving about 8% of US tungsten requirements.
Great. So could you update us on the recent development at the IMA mine, including exploration work, permitting progress, and near-term production plans?
Of course. So, I've been at the helm of this company since April. Since I joined the company, I brought on a couple of very key individuals to the board and management team, including Dan Nicholas, who is a prior employee of the Department of Energy, to help us unlock non-dilutive capital funding. I also brought on Jim Whitaker, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Capstone Copper, one of the larger copper companies in the world today, trading at about a $6.5 billion market cap. Beyond that, we completed the financing to the tune of $7 million. We announced a $2.5 million raise and raised $7 million. We had to cap it there. We had a lot more demand, but did not take it. That $7 million will do a number of things for us. One, it will allow us to rehabilitate the mine site, bring it a step closer to exploration drilling. And two, allow us to drill between 6 and 10,000 feet of exploration drilling to prove up the historical resources that are not 43-101 compliant, but also to grow the resource profile in order to extend the life of mine of our asset. We're also using the surplus of capital there to do a number of things, including work with lobbyists in Washington to unlock that non-dilutive capital. And wherever possible, should we see an asset that is brownfield, excuse me, or a near-term producer in North America, it is something that we will be looking to roll into the portfolio.
So as you mentioned, your company recently closed a 7 million upsize financing. So is there any specific using for this financing money and what the milestone you're expecting next?
Sure. So as I mentioned, the use of proceeds is around the rehabilitation and the exploration drilling to provide us validation from the historical resource. In terms of the major milestones you can expect from the organization, in October or November of this year, we expect to put out an updated resource statement. We're also looking to obtain some non-dilutive capital from various government agencies. We have an application in with Exim for a debt component as far as the capital requirements of the project are concerned. And given we have 6,000 US shareholders, the name of the company is American Tungsten, the asset is in Idaho. We are working on a plan to bring our company to the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange American. So those are some of the key milestones and catalysts you can expect from the organization over the next 2 quarters. Beyond that, of course, you'll start to see some mine development plans come into fruition and then ultimate production in the next 12 to 18 months.
Fantastic. So let's look at the whole mineral market. So why has tungsten suddenly become one of the most important critical minerals today?
Well, tungsten has been critical as far as the US has been concerned since 1979. So it's been on that list of critical metals for a very long time. North America was a big producer of tungsten till about 2015. So CanTung, which is a project in Canada, as well as some of the other projects in the United States, all stopped production in 2015. The reason they stopped production is because China started to bring cheap tungsten online. And as a result, we could not compete with the cheap Chinese tungsten. In the last few years, I would say the last 7 or 8 years, the world has been in a heightened state of conflict. There are a number of conflicts that are occurring around the world. Tungsten is the hardest metal on the periodic table, only softer than diamond. It has a very high melting point, about 2,500 degrees centigrade. It is also used in nuclear power plants, in the core reactors to build nuclear power plants. Around 2 years ago, China started to restrict export of tungsten in order to control the market and, of course, ensure that it has military superiority or dominance. So what we're seeing now in terms of the actual price of tungsten from about $300 in December to about $460 today. So it's gone up significantly. It's at 14-year highs. the state of conflict of the planet, of course, means that the militaries that are in conflict will need to up their ammunition and their various mechanisms that allow them to remain in conflict. And now you have NATO announcing 5% of their GDP allocated to defense spending. And so with the export restrictions in place in China, not looking to go anywhere anytime soon, irrespective of the trade and tariff war that we're currently seeing, the expectation is that the price of tungsten continues to rise, demand continues to rise, and it's important that we start to look at sources outside of China to bring tungsten back online in terms of production. So that's sort of the macro view with respect to tungsten and its uses. And we don't see that price going down. And even if, China were to reintroduce tungsten to the market and open up the floodgates, I think the lesson learned here is that we have to set up our own local supply chain so that we're not impacted by any sort of export restrictions in the future.
Great. So we've also noticed that tungsten has gained increasing attention from a lot of governments, such as US and Canada, which are providing fundings for its development. So is your company taking any action to attract this attention to secure some of the funding?
Yeah, so the Department of Defense recently funded Guardian Metals to the tune of $6 million for their pilot mine project in Nevada. They also provided $15.7 million US to fireweed minerals in Q1 of this year. Tungsten being critical, of course, government agencies are looking to secure their hands on offtake or supply. As far as our company is concerned, we've been a member of the DIBC since earlier this year. In Q1 of this year, we signed up with DIBC. We submitted a white paper to the Department of Defense in Q1 of this year for funding. We have a letter of interest application in with Exim, which is a debt provider from the US government that we're looking to unlock funding from as well. We are in talks with the DOE, DLA, and various other government agencies to unlock that non-dilutive capital requirement that will allow us to come to production. And for our listeners, just so you get a sense of sort of how much capital it would take to bring this asset to production, as well as the timelines, the vast majority of assets around North America, in fact, globally, I should say, will take within 3 years or so to even commence permitting for construction. We are 12 to 18 months from production. Our capex on this initiative to go to production is only $20 million US. So we're not talking $250 to $400 million like various other players. We're talking 20 million US, brings production online to the tune of 8% of demand in the United States. And we are hoping that these government agencies that we have engaged with will be the primary provider of that capital requirement in a non-dilutive fashion in order for us to execute.
Okay, so back to capital market, talking about your stock price. Since July, your share price has rebounded from around 50 cents to 80 cents now. So what is the reason behind it?
Well, I think, even at 50 cents, we were cheap. At 80 cents, I would argue that we are still cheap. I think this is a matter of us sort of finding our baseline here. The execution that the team has undergone with respect to raising the capital, bringing on the necessary manpower, actually doing work on the ground. So we've started to rehabilitate the mine site. We're getting ready for drilling. We have a lot of news flow that's imminent here. And looking at back of the envelope metrics and economics, we've got 2 ounces per ton of silver. That amounts to about $80 in credits per ton of ore. We have about 0.15% moly. That's another $20 per ton. So we have about $100 of credit sitting within our ore body that are not being accounted for in our valuation that will ultimately offset the OPEX and increase the earning potential for our project. So we're rebounding here quite nicely. It's nice to see, but I think there's still a lot of room for us to grow with respect to the upcoming catalysts.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ali, for sharing your insights with us.
My pleasure.